Hi, my name is Pete Holmberg. I'm running for New York State Senate. I'm running in District 28, which is sometimes very hard to describe because you'll look at a map and the top looks like a jigsaw puzzle and the bottom looks like a jigsaw puzzle. But pretty much it covers the Upper East Side, East Midtown, Central Park South, and other parts of Murray Hill where I live. In looking at New York now and seeing what it's going to be like in 50 years when people like me come here, and when I say people like me, I mean people who don't feel comfortable somewhere else. That's not gay people, that's all sorts of people. People who feel maybe they're too old to be somewhere else. Maybe someone wants to begin their life at 60 or 70. I think that could happen in New York. I see this town as tremendously welcoming because so many people come here. Nobody ever says to you when you move to New York, no matter who you are, why'd you move here? People get it. When you move to New York, people understand why you're here. And that opportunity that was available to me, because I came here and it was pretty easy to move here. I stayed at Hotel 17 down on 17th between 2nd and 3rd. I paid $140 my first week here for a room for 1 week. It was not the lap of luxury, but it was affordable. And I was able to get temp work immediately. So I was able to immediately sustain myself and work up the ladders of the temp agencies. They eventually loved me. I eventually got a real full-time job. This city was accessible in 1992. It's far less accessible now. Now you need 40 times the rent to get an apartment. Now all of the hotels cost a fortune. Now you need substantially more than I came here with. And it's not as accessible. The key to maintaining that accessibility in New York is entry-level positions, is temp work. Things that come about because this is an event-driven town. Major things happen here. I didn't know many rich people when I came to live here in 1992. I was working class, all of my friends were working class, but we depended on rich people because my working class friends wouldn't pay me $17 an hour to walk around a house with a plate of hors d'oeuvres. That was rich people. Rich people, corporations, they provide a great deal of opportunity to people like me who came here with not a lot. And keeping that business alive, keeping those opportunities alive, keeping people who host big parties, have premieres, have filming, produce movies, open up new restaurants. That's essential to keeping New York alive. And as a state senator, I can look at things that keep people from doing that. Because this is not a business-friendly town. This is a town that over time has become very hostile to wealthy people and business people. And if you're someone like I was, and basically still am, I'm selling real estate, I'm hardly a captain of industry, you need commerce. You need opportunities. You need to be sharing this island of Manhattan with corporations, with people with a lot of money, with people who are going to be producing events and companies and products that need entry-level, middle-level, senior-level help. People talk a lot now about the cab riding tax that's coming up, and I like to talk about it because it's something that can be easily communicated. $2.50 for any cab ride venturing below 96th Street, only in Manhattan, starting January 1, 2019. It's something that people look at, especially on the Upper East Side, people who take a lot of cabs. If you take 4 cabs a week, it's $500 post-tax a year. That's something that's very tangible and it's easy to understand. But I like to talk about it because it's actually a symptom of a much larger problem. And the larger problem is that Manhattan has become irrelevant to the state legislature. Manhattan is viewed as absolutely Democratic. So if you're a Democratic senator in New York and you're trying to make the case that this is going to hurt Manhattan, well, the Democrats will just look at you and say, don't worry, if you get replaced, you'll just be replaced with another Democrat. So the Democrats kind of take Manhattan for granted and have almost developed this perception that we're all rich. We are not all rich in Manhattan. There are many people who truly cannot afford that extra $2.50 cab riding tax, and oftentimes you need to take cabs. Subways can't be reliable, it's raining, you've got kids with you, you've got an elderly person. People take cabs for a lot of reasons people take cabs for reasons that have nothing to do with luxury. In many ways, it's a necessity for many people. So this cab riding tax is just kind of a reminder that we don't really get looked at all that seriously. There wasn't a lot of press on it. Following the passage of it into the 2019 budget, my opponent, Senator Kruger, wrote an op-ed for Crain's New York Business in which she referenced the cab riding tax, but only referred to it as a small fee, but didn't give the number. In my experience in sales, when someone says it's a small fee and they don't tell you what it is, it's not usually that small. I would have thought from the article that it was a 25-cent fee. $2.50 in my mind is not a too small fee. But again, it's just the type of thing that happens when we're not focused on local government, when we're over-focused on the national scene, and when we have a state legislature that doesn't really have to worry about getting Manhattan or losing Manhattan. Being a Republican in 2018, first of all, and my number one thing, it means being the adult in the room when it comes to the economy. And you need to have responsible conversations and adult conversations that aren't really driven entirely by emotion. Emotion is part of it. Certainly when we see things going on, we're all human beings, and sometimes it's really hard to watch. But it's not the role of government just to feel. It's the role of government to take action and do things to make things better for people. And it's the role of all of us who are in government, because government is all of us. Government isn't them. We are government. We all get to vote after the age of 18. All of us. And so government is something that we need to be looking at in a very functional and practical way. And in my mind, in 2018, the most functional and practical people are the Republicans. It's a little reminiscent of being in high school and being the token homosexual. I was the one gay person that people know who would say he was gay. There were a lot of gay people in my high school, but not a lot of people who were willing to walk around admitting it. So I find myself now being the token Republican among a lot of people, and there's mixed reactions, and it's just like high school. Some people are horrified, some people are secretly curious, some people are secretly jealous, and other people just hate you for doing it. I'm not going to let anyone tell me who Republicans are. I'm with Republicans every day. So I know who they are. I know what the Republican Party is. And if someone wants to Google it or watch it on television and then share their perception of it with me, well, that perception they have is valid, but it's not going to outweigh my perception that comes from actual experience. Local politics, and what I'm going to say, local businesses, towns, states are suffering, I believe, because of the national soap opera and people's fixation on it. It's almost as if it's a primetime soap opera called White House. Instead of J.R. Ewing, we have Donald J. Trump. Instead of Alexis Carrington Colby, we have Hillary Rodham Clinton, and it's on 7 days a week. And it's taking focus away from towns and states and issues that people should be looking at that are affecting them, that are affecting their pocketbook and their safety and their streets and their schools. People are not as locally focused as they could be. And it makes sense because it's compelling. What's going on is interesting, but people need to look at what's affecting their day-to-day lives. And I see the lack of focus here in New York. People say to me, what are you going to do about President Trump? And I say, I'm applying for a job in which we can get the charter school cap lifted. I'm applying for a job in which we can make sure that the special high school's admissions test remains fair. I'm applying for a job that can help keep the homeless from becoming, a danger to themselves and other people because we can put in certain programs. That's not about President Trump. That's something, if I was running for US Senate, Shel Farley, who is running for U.S. Senate here, she will have a say with President Trump. I cannot win this race without Democrats. That's just a fact. The good news is I have Democrats on my side. I have Democrats coming up to me and saying, I'm not going to tell anyone I'm doing this. I'll lose my friends if I do this, but I'm voting for you. And I get that. I've done that. I've been the contrarian vote. As a Democrat for years, I voted in a contrarian way because I wanted a more balanced town. As a Democrat, you want to keep other Democrats in check. And other Democrats won't be in check if it's just everyone is on the same side. You need that two-party system. One-party systems are not good for any location. So I get why people are going to vote for me. I understand that. And it doesn't mean you're a Republican. It means you're putting someone in there. What really is my opportunity, frankly, with Democrats is holding the mayor in check. Because I was on the street in 2018 with my team and we collected signatures. It is an enormous task, and it's also an invaluable task for any politician because it gets you out there. You're standing there with a clipboard, you're saying, hi, are you a registered Republican? And you get a lot of responses. And some of them are hostile from Democrats. And the Republicans come up to you, you feel this kinship. And then what's really magical is when a Democrat comes up to you and you feel a kinship with a Democrat because they want to feel that their own party is being held in check. And one thing I learned on the streets of New York in 2018, in June of 2018, was that there were all these varying opinions on President Trump. There were all these varying opinions on the Republican Party. Nobody, and I mean nobody, I didn't have a single person defend Mayor Bill de Blasio. I'm still the same person I always was. I haven't changed at all. When I have these conversations with my Democratic friends who are upset that I'm a Republican, things always get better after we talk, human being to human being, and they see that I'm the exact same person I've always been. I'm someone who believes in free speech. I'm someone who believes in freedom more than anything else. I'm someone who says a lot of inappropriate things, and I want to maintain my ability to do that. And I lost my ability to do that without confrontation in the Democratic Party. There was a lot of groupthink there. There was a lot of sanctimoniousness, frankly, and there was a lot of judgment. And that is not why I became a Democrat. I became a Democrat to feel free, to say what I wanted, to express myself. And the ability to do that got lost. And around the time that I was realizing that got lost in the Democratic Party, the Republican Party on the other side of the fence was changing and growing. The Republican Party is, I think, different than it was 5 years ago. The Republican Party today, and that's really all I care about today, is an incredibly welcoming place. So for me, I made the decision in the same way in 1992 I made the decision I got to get out of Chicago and move to New York. In 2017, I made the decision I got to get out of the Democratic Party. I don't like to say Democrat Party, I think that's pejorative. Democratic Party, and come over to the Republican Party. And so I'm here. And I haven't changed, but the Democratic Party changed and the Republican Party changed. And this is where I feel at home now. And this is where I belong.